Hello, what's up, San Diego? Welcome to another episode of La Formula Latino Mix, Notes from the Underground Edition. We have Jetty in the house, and let's just have some coffee and some conversations.
Let's do it.
Let's talk about the beginning of it all.
We got no time. Rise and shine.
First of all, introduce yourself for the people that don't know who you are.
So I'm Cameron. I am currently the Southern California Business Development Manager for Jetty Extracts. You can find me on Instagram.
There you go.
At the Canadad. So trying to give some real life, fatherly, real life advice to people who want to use cannabis.
That's important.
In their life, but also work and have goals and want to make a change.
How did you get started with Jetty?
I've been with Jetty since about 2016,
Okay.
Late 2016. I actually got started with Jetty via a different brand, Mind Tricks. It's an edible. They approached Jetty, wanted to do a collaboration. That was a family, my aunt's company. And since then, I took that brand and started selling that specifically, but through Jetty's distribution and their pipelines. And then from there, Jetty saw what I was able to do and decided that they wanted me to sell their product as well.
Awesome. So
here we are.
Jetty, for those that don't know, started in San Diego.
Correct.
Let's talk
Ocean
a little
Beach.
bit about that history.
Yeah, so Jetty started in about 2013, which is quite a few years if we're talking cannabis industry.
Absolutely.
And everything that's been going on. So we've been around for a while. Eventually, we had to move, make our way up to Oakland. We've been doing this legally for many, many years, and the only place that we could do the extraction process that we are doing was in Oakland. We didn't have to fear someone coming and knocking down the doors and taking
Oakland's
everything that
pretty
we're doing.
friendly, cannabis friendly.
So we've been up there ever since, but we have a marketing hub down here in San Diego. I'm down here, so we still trying to breathe life, into both areas. Oakland's helped, but San Diego is our roots.
Absolutely. And then, so I know you guys are very involved and try to educate people a lot. What are some of the educational initiatives that Jetty's working on right now?
Yeah, I think the biggest one right now is SB 24.
Okay.
It's a Senate bill that's on the state floor, and pretty much what that's going to allow is compassion program. So part of Jetty's foundation was compassion. So before it was cool to give away product, we were giving away product to cancer patients who needed it. Didn't really make sense financially or businessly, at that time, but we just knew that this is something that had to be done. When 2018 rolled around, it eliminated our ability to be able to give out product, even in a compassion form. So previously a bill passed, but Governor Brown vetoed it.
Right.
Now that we have Newsom, we're hoping that if this bill passes, that it will allow for compassion. So we're doing what we're calling a Cannabis for a Good tour. We have this big bus. It's branded.
Wow.
We're driving up and down the state, stopping at different spots.
In California
In
only,
California, yeah, and gathering signatures for that
For
bill.
the bill? That's a great strategy.
Look it up. If not, reach out to me, and we have like pre-made postcards that we can
Is there a
give you to
website
send.
that they can visit?
Yeah, if you go to jettyextracts.com,
Okay.
the Cannabis for Good will show up there. But if you email anybody, make sure you mention my name or something, just so that way it gets through the pipeline a
Absolutely.
little quicker. Sometimes we get inundated with a lot of stuff. So,
All right, so let's talk a little bit about Jetty's products now.
very simple. The product itself is great. Marijuana, cannabis, whatever you want to call it, has provided a lot of value to a lot of people.
For many years.
Yeah, for many years. So we want to keep it as natural as we can. So we have no additives, no fillers, all cannabis-derived terpenes. So that flavor, that puff that you taste, is going to taste a lot more like the flower.
Oh, yeah.
Than
That's
than
very
other
important
plants.
for, the connoisseur that
For sure, yeah, exactly. And that's
that
only
likes
the
to keep
that's only
essence
the tip
of
it.
the plant.
You know, we do cryodistillation, you know, which is a
Okay.
technique that
Yeah,
you
I
can
was gonna
use
say
in the,
explain that.
yeah, in the industry. So it's a way that, you know, we reintroduce our terpenes. You
Okay.
can do that via a warm method. You can also do that via a cold method. And so we do it in a
And
way.
how does that affect?
Yeah,
Whether
so
it's cold or hot.
Exactly. So terpenes are what give the plant its life. You know, its smell, what it
Flavor.
does to you. You know, whether it's your body, your high, whatever it might be. Terpenes activate with temperature. So the first time that our terpenes are being affected and activated is when you pull it through the cartridge versus being heated and then introduced into the cartridge. So just
Does that take
keep it a little
away
more
from it
integrity.
then? Being
No, it adds to it. You know, it makes sure that the first time that those terpenes are being activated is when you're hitting it. You know, a lot of the other times, if you're not using a cold method, the terpenes are activating prior
to
you
consumption.
Yeah, exactly. Prior to
Okay.
you consuming it.
All right. And then what are some of the plans for Jetty in the near future? I know the PAX vape pen.
Yeah.
It's one of the most technologically advanced in the industry. Are there any changes that are going to come to that?
Yeah,
I know there's an app with it.
For sure. So PAX obviously is they're a technology company, right? So they
Yes,
partner
they are.
with fillers. So we rely on PAX to handle the technology.
Okay.
That's their job. They're gonna, in my opinion, if I'm understanding correctly, they're gonna always be on the top of their game in terms of advancing their technology. Already that's come from even just the lifespan that we've had it is like a dosing meter.
Okay.
So if you are somebody who is concerned about, you know, I don't want to just puff this 5 times, you know, and hope that it does what it should do. You can go in there, you can set a low, a medium, a high, and when you take your hit, it will cut off from, you being able to have any more. So you can accurately kind of start to dose out.
Yeah.
I need 3 hits in the morning, 3 hits in the afternoon, and 3 in the evening at the micro level, you know, in order to feel how I want to feel.
And then you can control all of those settings from your phone.
From your phone,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's
you can
so
you can
cool.
lock it so when, you know, if you got kids like I do, if
So
they
child
decide
safety.
to pick it up, you know, and try to smoke it, it won't let
They
them.
won't.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it will
that's
just,
awesome.
You know, go red.
Very, very
and
cool.
our pods are pretty well received, you know, from people who like packs. We currently have the top 7 best-selling pack SKUs.
Wow.
You know, across the state.
Congratulations, guys.
Yeah, they like our pods. They keep coming back from. So if you're a PAX area, or if you haven't tried it, then I would definitely recommend starting with one of our pods.
About that. I'm saying people are poor and broke and hungry. I don't care what you look like. If you're hungry, you're hungry. But how do we feed those hungry people by putting Jetty on those? How do we do it? By doing our gaming tournaments and so make sure Jetty hits that millennial. The video game industry goes.
I'm enjoying this moment with you. You gotta live it up in your life. And if it feels like heaven to you, I'ma give it to you just how you like. I'm enjoying this time with you. You gotta live it up in your life.
Yeah, you can find us
find
in
your products.
in a lot of majority of the legal shops. So you have, you know, SDRC, you have Golden Bloom, you have March and Ash, we got Apothecare, THC, Urban
And,
Leaf.
you know, speaking of legal, let's talk about black market. Has that affected you
Ooh,
guys?
is that what we're calling it, black market? I've been hearing some. There's just been so many terms floating around. I just did a
There's
retreat.
gray, there's black.
There's gray. No, there's. I used to always call it gray, right? That was
Okay.
mine because when I first started, I had to sell to these accounts. Like there was no other option.
But
So
Prop 215 made it so that people were able to have, you know, their
for sure, but even
transactions.
some of those shops that are operating under 215, like, are they operating under 215?
I mean,
are they just...
If you have your recommendation from the doctor.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's
I
what,
guess
so
you
this
were.
is, yeah, that's what I was getting at. We're at Meadowlands, which is a retreat up in the Redwoods up north, and I heard somebody use the term "free people's market."
Oh wow, that's a new one. I hadn't heard that
exactly.
one.
I was like, maybe I like that one, a little more, because it's true,
Yeah.
People are just trying to gain access to this plant, and the fact that we are
And why shouldn't they?
stigmatizing a certain section of it, there's a lot of debate right now of
I would just
what we
call
should
it
do.
the regulated and non-regulated markets.
For sure.
Because
But I don't know if you've seen, the BCC has a big push right now.
I've seen their commercials.
Yeah.
Well, their ads online about
Yeah.
is your weed legal?
For sure, yeah, and that's
funny.
a big debate in the industry right now of what should we do? Are
It's a plant.
those dollars spent there creating this advertisement worth it? Or should we be spending those dollars on some other campaign of sorts?
Yeah, well, a lot of people think this should be spent on the communities that the war on drugs have affected.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
Absolutely. I mean, social equity has to be a foundational piece of this industry. It's supposed to be. It's written into Prop 64, but the reality is that municipalities are slow to start creating programs in order to access it. The education about what this program actually means and does is lacking. And quite frankly, there's like predatory practices,
Absolutely.
happening right now under
the licensing.
the guise of social equity.
I agree. There's a lot of work to be done.
For sure, and I
the
just
end of the
challenge
day.
like any of these big companies. We can name some of these big companies that have a lot of money that are trying to adopt social equity programs, and they make announcements by it. But quite frankly, a lot of them suck.
Well, they're all
they're
getting
not
started.
good.
So this is like everybody's first time implementing those
For
things. So
sure.
in my opinion, we got to give it a little more time till we get it right.
Yeah, but let's make sure we're, this is what I'm getting at in terms of like social equity piece. If I'm a man, a female, anybody, who has a lot of money, and I can go to somebody else knowing that they're going to have access to expedited licensing or whatever it might be at that time, and I'm going to say, I'm going to give you $5 million, more money than you've ever seen in your life. But I'm going to own 99% of your company. I'm going to own 80% of your company.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We need to write the laws so that those things aren't abused.
For sure.
Because at the same time, if you think about this, if you see it from the perspective of the person that's getting the money, who has been marginalized all their life, maybe can't even get a job due to the cases that they have on their books, $5 million can't help them and their family.
But that business is going to be worth way more than $5 million, and that person knows that it's gonna be easy to snatch that license up and use it for their benefit.
I agree.
Versus what it should be used for. So I want to examine those, and if I'm looking at a social equity program that's going to have a huge impact,
Absolutely.
like these billion-dollar companies who have social equities programs written into their docs, and it doesn't look good in my opinion, and I'm gonna try to have a dialogue, because those companies are, in my opinion, are gonna lay the foundation for what this program is gonna look like. And
essentially, we're in this together, and we got to figure it out.
Amen.
All right, guys, stay with us, because when we come back, we'll be talking to Ann Heiser about fitness and wellness.
Get more out of life with Dynamite.
Hey, this is Nathan Liu from Mongol Tribe, and you're listening to Notes from the Underground. For me, this is really about community. It's not only am I creating community in an environmental, ecological sense, but I'm creating community, in my human family. And that connection to each other, the connection to culture, it's rooted in food. We're not separate from nature. That's a new concept. That's a very Western concept. So that connection to nature is rooted in all of our our native traditions. You know, where does our food come from? Where do we come from? How are we connected? And the more we have a relationship with that genetic relationship, then we start to understand why we eat certain foods and why certain foods nourish us more than others.
It's gonna bite me. I didn't do nothing. Look at folks. Love animals.
They're beautiful. They're sweet. And these are all pets. You know, they're all for folks to have as companions. You know, they're really sweet.
What's wrong? What's wrong, baby? What's wrong? What happened?
Yeah, he's just saying, don't eat me.
Okay, I won't eat you. I'm gonna eat guinea pig. Now them chickens right next to you. Watch out.
They're so cute.
Beautiful.
When people eat the food from here, what is their first reaction?
It's you know, one of appreciation for the complexity of flavor.
Rise and shine. We got no time. Rise and shine.